Hey there viewers, thank you for tuning in to Supermariodiagnostics once again. I got a check engine light on a 2010 Mazda 3 and I did a full complete scan. No other symptoms. Customer has 78,000 miles on the dash and the code is a P0172 system 2 rich and some battery voltage on the ABS, but that's not really our concern. So fuel system rich, there's a couple of things that can cause that. We're gonna look at some live data real quick, but basically a fuel pump that is, I've had one that was actually on a Tahoe. I had a fuel pump that had excessive pressure that gave me a rich condition, but that would, well, the fuel trims basically looked pretty rich at idle, and then when you hit the gas, you know, more demand, it corrected. So that's one possibility. Another possibility would be a bad O2 sensor. We could probably check that by checking the rear O2 to see if it if it agrees with the upstream sensor. Another one would be maybe a stuck open injector. That probably would do the same. It would look rich at idle, but then it would correct itself when you hit the gas, because you know you need more demand, you need more fuel. You have a stuck open injector, likely it would get corrected. And another possibility would be a mass airflow sensor that's dirty and more air is getting through, and the mass airflow sensor is basically not seeing it. Now that's not mass airflow sensor is only responsible for engine load calculations. It's not what's responsible for fuel trim calculations. The O2 sensors are responsible for fuel trim calculations. So let's take a look at some fuel trims. We are rich at idle, and our fuel tank pressure is looking good. It's not in vacuum, so that kind of takes out the possibility of a stuck open purge valve as well. So let me go ahead and hit the gas and see what happens. It got worse. So I don't know if you see that, but keep your eye on that long-term fuel trim. It gets worse. At 12.5, I believe, is the threshold for the check engine light to come on, and it did reach 12.5 percent rich. So stuff like that, when it gets worse with mass airflow sensor, I'm sorry, it makes me think of a mass airflow sensor. I'm telling you, it's not easy. It's not easy filming and thinking at the same time. So I give props to all of you who do it. When I see a rich condition, or even a little bit of a positive correction, and it enriches when you hit the gas, I'm thinking mass airflow sensor. So how do we test the mass airflow sensor? First, we got to make sure that we are hot. So let's check our coolant temperature. Engine coolant temperature. So the customer just came from the road, so it is at up to temperature. Let's look at a couple of things. Mass airflow sensor rate. Let's put that in grams per second. .6. It's not as bad as I thought it would be, but let's grab that. Let's also grab fuel trims. Long-term fuel trim, short-term fuel trim, and I want engine load as well. Engine load 18% at idle. So press show, and there's all of our things. Let's take off engine coolant temperature. We already know we're up to temperature. So what I want to keep, one test that a lot of people do is floor it real quick. WOT, wide open throttle. That should bring our engine load, calculated engine load, up to 100%, or at least better than 85%. So we're gonna do that real quick. Nothing. I think the max that we hit there was 70%, but let's keep an eye. Let's just do it again. And I'm holding it down. I'm not just doing a quick snap throttle. I'm actually holding it down for a second. And it just does not pass 70. At least I didn't see it past 70. So I want to put minimum 65, maximum 100, and see what we can find there. It didn't set. Let me see, minimum 65, maximum 100. Okay, so it doesn't even get into the graph. Let me try that one more time. So it hit basically 70%. I don't like that already. So I'm leaning already towards the mass airflow sensor due to the fuel trims behavior, and also due to the engine calculated engine load behavior. We should be seeing much better engine load, much higher engine load than that when we hit the gas. So let's go take a look at our mass airflow sensor, see if it's dirty. Okay, so I'm under the hood now, and this is our mass airflow sensor. It looks pretty new, and I want to look up that model number, M0172. So let's go ahead and figure out what that is, because knowing Mazdas, you're supposed to use OEM. It looks like somebody already diagnosed this thing. Could be customer diagnosed, could be another shop. So I'm gonna type in MAF 102 and see what we come up with. Oh man, I don't know if you guys can see that. This is a Spectra Premium mass airflow sensor. So it is an aftermarket sensor. It has already been diagnosed, and all the more reason why I'm leaning towards a mass airflow sensor issue. So you know what? I don't even suspect that it's dirty. It looks brand spanking new, but I'm gonna recommend it, and we're gonna change it. Well, if the customer approves it, we're gonna change it, and I'll give you guys the update, the new data, and we'll move on to the next one. All right, everybody, we got our brand new part approved. It's a Denso. And let's go ahead and change this sucker out. Yeah, no fast forwarding this time. And as you can see, that looks brand spanking new. Spectra Premium's finest. So happens when you use aftermarket. Now, I'm not even gonna lie, I can't remember if Denso is the actual OEM, but taking the manager's word for it, so not too worried about it. So let's jump inside, clear the codes, and check the data. Alright, so we're inside. I just cleared my codes. Let's go ahead and check some live data. Check engine lights off. And we gotta warm it up, so we'll be fast forwarding until we warm it up. Engine coolant temperature is up to 192. That's close enough. We look at our long-term fuel trim, huge improvement. I'm gonna hit the gas real quick, see what it does. Look at the long-term and short-term, see if it gets better or worse. That's great. It went from -3% to 0.78. And look at our mass airflow rate. Although it was pretty close, it's pretty close to our Spectra Premium unit. Let's see if our engine load does that. Does a raise beyond 70, real quick. Close. It does respond a lot better, I'll tell you that much. There you go. 78-ish, I would say. That's a test you don't want to do a million times back to back. So pretty happy with the results. Our bank, our P0172, for those of you who don't know, it is when the fuel trims pass 12.5. Negative 12.5 will give you a rich code. Over 12.5%, fuel trims, long-term fuel trims will give you a lean fuel trim code. And we're pretty much done. We're at -3, and that's not something I'm going to worry about. I'm pretty happy with that. And thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys taking the time. And don't forget to hit like, share, comment, subscribe. You know, tell me what I did right, tell me what I did wrong. Maybe you guys can pitch in. You know, I'm always I love to learn different information. You know, maybe there's a Mazda tech out there that really really can help us out here. But for now, this is a fix. And one more thing, I think I've said it before, I've got a Facebook page. I will be posting stuff on my Facebook page that I do not necessarily I will not be necessarily posting on this YouTube channel. Some pretty interesting stuff. You know, I'm trying to keep them both in balance. You know, I want them to complement each other. You know, I don't want it to be just like my Facebook is only about my YouTube channel. It's gonna be a little bit about daily mechanic life. It is Super Diagnostics. Facebook.com/Supermariodiagnostics. I'll put a link in the description, and in my about page there's a link there too. Follow it, like it, let me know who you are, let me know what you're about. You know, and we can also have discussions. That's a place where you can share your thoughts. You don't necessarily have to try to reach out for me in some crazy way. I mean, I do have my email and all, but it's pretty convenient. There's a messenger. I'm always available. People have messaged me in my Facebook page. People have messaged me, and I respond pretty quick. It's just another thing. I'm gonna be able to do that as much as I can. I don't want to be one of those guys that are untouchable. I like to think that I'm just one of you guys. A part of the family. I don't want you guys to think that I'm a know-it-all, or that I'm not. I'm just another mechanic out there, and I want you guys to reach out. Let me know how everything is. If you like the channel, tell me why. If you don't, tell me why. I'm always sharing other resources. There's a lot of resources out there. Just a good place to discuss things. Anyway, thanks for watching, and until next time.